What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we dive into another meta deck that I'm going to be making into a budget deck. And today's deck is Rakdos Anvil or Rakdos Sacrifice. It's a pretty popular deck. I actually kind of like it just because I do like decks that have like intricate kind of like combo-y pieces that once you kind of get the right things out, the deck kind of works for itself. We are going to try to do more of a zero rare version of this deck. In particular, I do think the pieces still work even if you don't have the rares. I know the rares definitely do help out the deck just because it makes the deck kind of work a little bit more consistently on that sense. But with the new set coming out in the next few weeks, I think it's probably best if you're someone who's looking to play budget decks or looking to maybe, you know, save your rares, maybe buy some of the new cards once they release. I think it's probably better off that we decide to play a budget version. With that being said, if you like the video, hit that like button. It definitely helps out a lot. If you're new here, you want to know when I post new videos on the channel, hit that subscribe button. It's +1/+1 counter on the channel. And with that being said, let's just dive into the deck and let's just talk about it. All right, so here is the deck. I mean, nothing super crazy about the deck. The deck is a fairly low curve deck, as most of the cards in the deck, even in the meta version, are 1 and 2 drops. So it's not a very heavy land dependent deck, but it does have a few pieces that really make the deck work. Like I said, the one card being oni-cult Anvil is a new card that kind of got added with Kamigawa. With it being whenever one or more artifacts we control leave the battlefield during our turn, we get to create a 1/1 colorless construct artifact creature token. This ability triggers only once each turn. So essentially during your turn, if you attack with these little 1/1 tokens and it dies in that process, you'll get a 1 to replace it. You can also just sacrifice an artifact if you don't actually have many artifact creatures out on the battlefield by sacrificing an artifact, and it deals 1 damage to each opponent and you gain 1 life. So yet again, just another additional way to trigger this ability if you really want to get that additional damage in. There are a lot of things we do have in the deck that you can just go ahead and sacrifice straight up and not outright, just because it's kind of why we have some of the cards in the deck. One of those cards being Experimental Synthesizer. It's a 1-mana artifact that whenever it enters the battlefield and or leaves the battlefield, you get to exile the top card of your library until end of turn. You may play that card. So in itself, it's a little bit of an additional card draw for 1 in this style of deck. You can tap 3 to sacrifice it and you can create a 2/2 white samurai creature token with vigilance. So pretty cool in that sense. But the idea of us kind of getting that 1 additional card by the time when we play it and when we sacrifice it, definitely pretty awesome there. Outside of that, we also have the Skozen Smelter, another cool card that came with Kamigawa. At the beginning of our combat, each time we pay 1, we can sacrifice an artifact. If we do, we create a 3/1 red construct artifact creature token with haste. So definitely another creature to be very aggressive against our opponent. We can swing in with these constructs, triggering the oni-cult, and then since essentially just kind of triggering over and over again. We get the 1/1 out of the anvil. We create a construct and we kind of rinse and repeat the process over and over again, hopefully triggering it multiple times throughout the game, which definitely makes it work. Of course, Meathook Massacre is in the deck. I think this is a deck that perfectly works with a Meathook Massacre, just because the idea of whenever a creature we control dies, our opponent's going to get drained for 1 life, and we also gain a life every time something does die on their side of the board. And the idea here of giving everything -X on the initial play of the card is also very good. So it's a board wipe and also drain effect built into a card. You see it almost in every single black deck, as it's probably the strongest removal spell currently in standard legal. And there is a reason why the card is worth as much as it is worth, just because it has so much versatility no matter what deck you are playing. So let's go ahead and let's separate the deck into piles. Let's get all the rares and mythics into one pile and kind of see what we're left with after we go ahead and do so. So let's get lands over here. There are fairly decent amount of rare lands in the deck, not too many. You have about, it looks like somewhere around 13 or so rare lands, which isn't that bad. So we have 4 and 4, so we probably will splash in some of the tap duels. I may keep 1 pathway in because I can't remember yet again. It's one of those things that always slips my mind. I don't have the starter decks anymore on my account as I went through and filtered them down, but I'll keep 1 in just because I think you have 1 pathway. I don't know if you get all the pathways, but I think you have 1 at least of this. So definitely going to keep probably 1 pathway in just to make that hopefully a little bit easier, because lands are definitely beneficial to have them from the battlefield untapped. So yeah, I mean, that is actually all that comes out. So I mean, this deck by itself, besides the lands and the Meathook Massacre, not super expensive. So I mean, the deck itself is kind of budget centric in a way, and it being as good as it is, it definitely makes it plus. So that is one thing, and let's kind of take an idea of what we could replace it in. We probably want to fix the lands. So let me delete all the lands and kind of see how many lands I have to add into the deck. I probably could have just clicked it and see how many lands there are, but we'll just do it this way. We'll keep the 1 Blightstep pathway. We'll get rid of the Ridge. All right, so we have to get 12 more lands back into the deck. We'll probably go up to 8 swamps. We'll do 8 of the mountains, and we will do a play set of the dual land that is tapped. Gold, we get rid of the colorless, and where are my tapped dual lands? So we'll get a play set of these bad boys, and I think that puts us at like 21 lands. Yeah, 21 lands. So I mean, I guess the deck doesn't need a lot of lands to make it do what it does, so that's definitely a plus. So that is good. And let me click off this real quick by here. And let's see what else we can add to the deck, because we have to get rid of the anvils. You know, we're going to make it very budget friendly. I mean, if you want to keep the anvils in, I mean, go for it and just play, you know, 21 or so lands like this if you have the budget to get the anvils. But we'll play a version with no anvils and kind of see what it goes from there. I mean, like I said, the benefit of this deck is, you know, it's not very heavy rare mythic in the main deck itself outside of the lands. So let me kind of go over here. So we have a couple options. Let me click off this. Click off land. Here is one option, because itself is an artifact. It is a creature. It does cost 2 mana, and it kind of hits your opponent's hand. That is one option there. Another option we could possibly do is we could also do one of these bad boys. Good old Blood Fountain is another possibility, as it being an artifact in itself as well. I think other than that, I mean, that's really all I think I want to add in here, because I mean, we don't want to really go outside of artifacts for the most part, except for a few creatures that may produce artifacts by themselves, like the Blood Tithe Harvester. You got your Volder and Epicure. Both of those cards do produce a blood token when they come into battlefield, which we can then use as sacrifice fodder, or even just discarding them to sacrifice an artifact to draw a card. So definitely, you know, one of those things. So I think what we're gonna do is probably out of those, we're probably going to, you know, keep, you know, maybe do a split. Maybe we'll do 2 and 2. You know, I don't know if we really need the Blood Fountain, because we can return up to 2 target creatures from our graveyard to our hand, but do we really need them? I don't really know. So, you know, we're gonna get rid of that. Let's just do 2 Virus Beetles, and we'll do 2 of this Dragon Spark Reactors, which is another interesting card in itself, because whenever it or another artifact you control enters the battlefield, you get to put a charge counter on it, and then you can for 4 sacrifice it. It deals damage equal to the number of charge counters on 2 target player, and that much damage up to 1 target creature. So in itself, could finish the game by itself, because it is kind of almost like, as we're kind of doing these artifact triggers, we could be, you know, putting X amount of counters on it a turn, and then on 1 turn just do a fell swoop for maybe like 6 or 7 damage by sacrificing 4, and it really can't be countered unless they have some sort of way to counter target ability. So it's definitely like one of those things that your opponent can slowly see build up, and they kind of have to deal with it, or they're going to get burnt out. I'm going to actually hit craft all, because I guess I don't have all the Kamigawa Blood-Filled Caves, so now we have 4 of those. But I actually think this is a pretty decent deck, so let me just kind of put it over here. Yet again, deck doesn't have any cards more than 2 mana, so definitely good there. In my playtesting of the meta version of the deck, sometimes the mana gets a little funky, sometimes it swings one way or the other, and I think that's one of those things that, especially when you're playing these decks and trying to figure out what the mana situation is exactly, sometimes that's get a little wonky. But let's just dive into a game and kind of see how it does. All right, we're on the play again, because the game just loves giving us on the play. So I don't think it's a bad hand. It's not great. We don't have any threats. Oh, they have a pet. Okay. They had to make their pet's presence known, I guess, on the battlefield. Okay. Is it a mirror? Is it the mirror? Is the real question. I'm not going to sacrifice itself. That'd be dumb. No, it's just a deck that plays double strike stuff. It's mono red aggro of some sort, it looks like. Though none of it has trample, so I mean, we're not like in a bad spot in that sense. We are a little bit weird on mana though, so let me see. We can pull out here. Okay, that's it's 0. And we'll say go. You know what? Let's play a Warlock class. There we go. All right. I mean, it wasn't a bad turn. I mean, we stopped their little bit of their combo piece. It kind of came together. Okay, they got Chandra. Chandra's a bit of a problem. She's going to drain us a little bit here and there. But they don't have a very big push. They're probably not going to attack here. Exile top part of your library. Okay. They get 1 damage. Okay. Don't have any planeswalkers. Alright. So we will do this. Create a blood token. We'll hit Chandra. They want to block? Probably not. And then we'll just do that, gain another life, and we'll say go. Okay. Creature enters battlefield with additional +1/+1. They have a thingy thing, a little beetle. Sweet, it's a 3/3 beetle. And they have that. Awesome. And they have another one. Okay. So they are playing their whole hand here. Are they going to equip? All right. I'll block and I'll ping. And it's as if they only did 1 damage. They don't have a hand. That's perfectly fine for us. We will swing at Chandra. We will sacrifice. So I mean, we're sitting okay. We're sitting okay here. What does this do? If a creature was dealt damage by a source you control would die. Exile instead. Sure. There, we're really looking for a card. I'll swing again. Do they block? Sure. I don't get the beetle back, so it's fine. All right. I feel like you can't push all in on this, though. Or you do. Interesting. We'll sacrifice this. Take action. Action. 3, 6, 12. At your face. We will sacrifice. Fine. Okay, do your worst. I probably should have sacrificed a creature. I completely missed that now realizing. Alright. And it is... okay. sweet. I'm not dead. What does this do? Block, block. All right, we did it. Yeah, unfortunately I missed that last point of lethal there. All right, we're on the play. This is one of those hands where the mana is not very good for us because we have things that have black in it, but we don't have black. We're on the play, not the draw, so we're not gonna possibly draw that black mana in 2 turns. So we're gonna mulligan. Oh man, this deck is really being annoying, but you got to keep, I guess, right? I think we get rid of the village rights, and we'll have the draw. We'll have a synthesizer. Maybe get that land. Not the land. 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 Nice. We'll attack the hand a little bit. All right, we got something. All right, Stompy of some sort. We'll get the anvil out. It's definitely going to be tricky if they have a lot of rares. Doesn't seem like they have the whole deck just yet. Looks like they just have the ranger classes, so it's definitely good for us there. But once they start getting those going, it's definitely going to be a pain in the butt for us to get through. That's actually pretty good. Let's play Beetle. Make him discard. All right, so they're literally playing the Stompy deck, it looks like. Turn. Definitely literally looks like they're playing the Challenger deck that just came out based on the lands they have here. Maybe not. Maybe they're playing Werewolves. Okay. At first it looked like it. We're just gonna sacrifice, deal damage. I'm not gonna kill it anyway, so there was no point in me doing anything with that. Opponent's thinking. I don't know what they could be thinking about. I mean, they could have a Blizzard Brawl, but I mean, they easily have it here. Howlin' Moon. Okay, they're literally playing Werewolves. Yeah, this is not good for us. Why don't they just attack with the 2/2 wolf? I'm so confused. All right, run the play again. God, we only have 1 mana. Why do we keep into these 1 mana hands? I'm gonna keep. I'm gonna risk it for the biscuit. I have a couple ways to get, a couple additional draws, so hopefully that happens. All right, looks like we're playing green. Sweet, love green. We'll do the smelter. Because next time we can play like something like a synthesizer or a epicure, then pay the 1. All right, looks like they're maybe struggling a little bit. I'm not really sure. We'll auto pay, and we'll swing in for 5. Not a bad turn. Okay, we're moving. We're cruising. I did make an adjustment after my last game. Oh, they only have a 2-man hand, and they're gonna scoop. Okay. And we are back. So, I mean, overall, I felt like the deck performed fairly well. I mean, we did get matched up in a couple games there where it really didn't go in our favor. And I made just one minor tweak to the original list I showed. All I did was I took out the 1 Village Rites and I added just 1 additional Bloodchief Thirst. Even though it seemed like somehow in the other 2 games we got matched up maybe a little bit against more decks that were a little bit more even. But I mean, overall, I think this deck is definitely very good. You see in the games where things are kind of piecing together. We're creating some artifacts. We're sacrificing some artifacts to essentially just kind of reproduce the artifacts. The deck works pretty great. Like I said, if you have the extra mythics, I would say definitely go ahead, add in the Meathook Massacres. It will just make your opponent drain that much quicker, and just take out, you know, a couple cards like the Beetles, like the Reactor that, you know, I just kind of added in just kind of fill the spot of the Meathook Massacres. Maybe I could have also sacrificed my Dragonspark Reactor. I kind of feel like maybe I missed that also opportunity to do that in our last game. But, you know, overall, deck is fun. Deck is very budget friendly. Upgrade your lands when you have the rares. But like I said, you can focus on the main deck, then maybe do the rares afterwards. The lands, like I said, the mana base got a little bit funky, but I think that's just one of those things that when you play dual lands, you don't have a lot of methods of getting those dual colors. But overall, if you liked the video, hit that like button. It definitely helps out a lot. Decklist is down in the below if you want to import it yourself into Arena as the decklist you see here. And if you want to know when I post new videos on the channel, hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you in the next video.